Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today is Monday, which means it's time for an episode of Loadout, the series where you guys, the viewers, get to pick a gun and customization for me to use. The way you do this is you leave a comment down below, letting me know what kind of weapon and accessories you'd like me to run with, and I will pick one of the top rated comments for the next episode. Today's top comment comes from Eric Weston. He says, Metro Last Light, feel free to just pick one, and he's given me 4 different loadouts to pick from. You are Arton, and remember, comrade, if you point flashlight at enemies, they will, oh my god, massive spider mutants. I think that's the general sentiment he was going for. The loadout I picked from this one was the assault loadout with the Ak-12, the holographic sight, a suppressor, and angled foregrip with a flashlight. The sidearm is an MP443 flashlight heavy barrel, medkit for gadget 1, M320 dart for gadget 2. It's supposed to double as the double-barreled shotgun, if you will, using an incendiary grenade in place of the Molotov, and we'll be running with the trench knife. Now I have to admit, I never did play Metro Last Light, but I might actually get around to it. It looks like a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the Stalker series of games. I like kind of moving around in post-apocalyptic wasteland with old Russian-made weapons and mutant creatures all over the place. It sounds like a pretty fun time, actually, so who knows, maybe I'll check it out. Now, how about this loadout? Well, the Ak-12 is certainly no powerhouse, and when you put a suppressor on there, it limits its ranged effectiveness, so you're now stuck to fighting in close quarters with a gun that does very little damage. However, the suppressor does allow you to sneak around, and I gotta say, using a suppressor in, say, a team deathmatch game mode, which I am right here, allows you to really make a mockery of the enemy team if you get a good flank off. Now, I've actually become quite a big fan of the AK platform, and the Ak-12 represents one of the more modern AKs ever built, although I believe this gun kind of remained in prototype phase or never really made it into a big production cycle, so they didn't make too many variations of this specific model, but I like the AK platform because it represents a really cool type of weapon and a really inexpensive manufacturing process as well. So it's just an impressive weapon overall. As far as it goes in Battlefield though, it's certainly not going to impress anyone in terms of the amount of damage it can do. It shoots at 650 rounds per minute, making it a very slow firing assault rifle, and it has the exact same assault rifle damage model as most of the other ARs in this game, so it's really just not going to do much in terms of its damage output. Now, DICE is working on a lot of ways to try and make slower rate of fire weapons much more effective. They're testing out some techniques in CTE, but basically we have a while to wait before we see any of that in the retail version of the game and whether or not it actually works overall. So you're basically going to be stuck with a bunch of low damage AKs that just aren't really that viable in terms of competing with some of the top tier weapons. I liked what they did in Hardline though with the AKM, having it use the 7.62x39 style round, and that's a bigger bullet that it shoots, so they gave it a different damage model, and it actually does a lot more damage per shot in Hardline, and I like that overall. It was a nice way to balance out the weapons and create some variety between, say, the M16 and the AKM, but you don't really have that in Battlefield 4. I think weapon balance in Battlefield is so difficult because there isn't really a price tag on each weapon. Simply put, the AK is an inexpensive platform to manufacture. These guns can be made cheaply. You compare it to something like the M416, that is an expensive gun. It's probably over 3 times the price to manufacture an M416. I'd probably say 4 or maybe even 5 times the price to manufacture and sell that weapon as it is to make an AK. So you don't have that aspect balancing out the weapons in the game. You don't have any sort of price point at which you can make your kit in Battlefield 4, so it really makes sense to just use whatever gear is the best regardless of price. But enough of the nitty-gritty real-world comparison stuff. I actually really like having the M320 dart as a gadget when running with the Ak-12, because the Ak-12 is not going to be too effective in CQB, but the M320 dart is just going to totally blow people away. So it's a great gadget to have. You can just wreck people. It's an incredibly powerful shotgun, long reload time, but you still have your primary weapon and a sidearm to switch to in case you get stuck in between reloads. I've also been enjoying the EOTech sight a lot lately, mostly for aesthetic reasons, but it is a fun little sight to use. The suppressor is definitely going to slow down your muzzle velocity on this Ak-12, so your ranged effectiveness is just not really there, but if you can move around sneakily, then you can definitely get in there and do some serious damage, as I am here on Operation Mortar. And this is actually a really fun TDM map, and I thought I was going to be needing a longer range weapon to do well on it, but I managed to sneak around just fine. People are so reliant on the minimap on this one here because it's just lots of little hills and ravines where you can easily hide, that if you've got a suppressed weapon, you can work your way around the foliage and the rocks and stuff, and nobody's going to know where the heck you are until it's too late. Now, as far as the flashlight goes, I consider it to be a borderline useless attachment. It just gives away your position all the time. I even actually tried playing on the Metro map, and all it did was give away my position, and it actually has a weird effect where when you're lighting things up with the flashlight, it like oversaturates it and makes it actually hard to see details in front of you. So I just don't like anything about the flashlight, but in light of the theme of the loadout, I kept it on there and gave away my position quite a lot with it. The blinding effect of the flashlight is only good in extreme close quarters, and in my opinion, it doesn't really simulate what a realistic flashlight blinding effect should do to basically just throw your opponent off guard. If you want a realistic looking flashlight blinding effect, go play Insurgency, and that game gets it right. That's what an actual tack light would look like and what it would do to your vision if somebody shined it in your face. And I'm certainly not advocating that Battlefield 4 should adopt the Insurgency flashlight effect, because there's simply too many players in BF4, and if everybody had the ability to blind the heck out of every other player, it would just get abused, and that would be the whole game. So I'm okay with the flashlights not really being that good in BF4. Now let's check out this ending clip here. Of the 7 remaining kills in this game, I end up getting 6 of them, and it's all thanks to the suppressor. Sure, the enemy team is aware that their teammates are getting gunned down, and maybe they even hear my weapon, but the fact that they don't know exactly where I am or what angle I'm approaching from gives me the advantage every single time, and I'm able to basically just pick off heads, sneak around, and finally switch to my shotgun for the final kill. So that wraps it up for this episode of Loadout. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave your Loadout comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time. This is LevelCap signing off.